And good morning, not so fast. Good afternoon, everyone. We just hit noon, 710 KNUS on, of course, a big Broncos Saturday with tremendous guests. And I got a good caller coming in. He's actually a guest on a Saturday, January 17th, 2026. 38 and breezy. It's going to be cold at the game, 50, and then Monday it is 40 degrees and snow. In our studio is I could do the show every Saturday. John Bandimere is with us from, of course, the name of all these guys, they need no introduction. And Bill Vickery, Vickery Motorsports, and we're talking about racing on all levels, but way beyond that. And this is the Open Lines Hour. So let us, if we could, begin. This is Jack. Jack, you're on a radio show. Wonderful guest, and good morning.
Yeah, Pete, you and I have been talking for years. But anyway, you're on a subject now that I lived at. When you made the comment that guys would run these fuel dragsters for nothing, let me tell you something. I did it in 65 and 66, okay? And back then, nitromethane was $35 a gallon.
Right.
And there was only one person that produced it. It was something chemicals or something. You buy a 50-gallon drum, and it was like it would bankrupt you. But anyhow, I finally got out of it because it just got too... I can't imagine what it costs to do it today. I have no idea. I mean, it's got to be astronomical. And I got squeezed out of it by two things. The cost, and of course, you have two of everything. You have two blown motors. You have one frame, but you have two sets of mounted rims, and then you got the tire companies kept coming out with new designs. And if you didn't have the new tire, you couldn't qualify because the engines back then had more power than you had tires. But once they started developing the tires, and the tire people would give the tires to their favorite people, they sponsored them. Guys like me, I couldn't get a set of the tires, so you couldn't even qualify with them. I mean, anyway, my girlfriend, I've been dating her for 9 years, and we sat down one day, and I said, this is a money race with these dragsters. I mean, I'm going against Jim and Allison Lee that are descendants of Robert E. Lee, and they got Ed Pink motors, and they got the best of everything, and they make a phone call to give them the weather conditions, and they tell them what size bypass pill to put in the injector.
All true,
and
John.
I'm sitting here saying to myself, Jack, this is, I said, what they ought to do is when they bring the fuel cars in and have a fuel car show, they should line everybody up at the starting motor, and they should give their financial papers to everybody. And the guy with the most money, make him the winner and let everybody else go home.
John.
Because it just became a money show.
I got a thought. Go ahead, John. Anything you want to?
The thing is you're absolutely right. You and I could have a major conversation. I would love to see them take the top fuel cars, put them back to one magneto, make it to where when you come to the racetrack, you come with the engine you got and you go home with the engine you got. If you're going to blow it up, you're out. You're gone.
Yeah, well, they probably change them every round now.
They do. They change.
But we used to go to a junkyard. We used to go to a junkyard and buy a 392 Chrysler for $50.
Right.
We take the thing apart, clean it up. We do the heads in the head shop, get a set of forged pistons, aluminum rods, and we wouldn't even bore it out. We just hone it. So we get good seating on the rings, although a fuel car doesn't need rings anyway.
That's right.
John, here's my. So Bandimere sets me up to join a Nitro Harley drag team. I don't know if you even remember.
Oh, in a motorcycle?
Yeah, but they're running Nitro, and those bikes would grenade, and so John thought, well, it would be a great, because I love motorcycles, and I said I'd love to do it. So I go and meet the guys, meet their team. And there's a guy in there like a mad scientist, and he's mixing to get you're doing it. He's got two vials, and so
hydrazine.
And a guy said to me, he said, you want to be on the team? He said, you got to take a drink of that. No, I'm serious. It's a true story. And I'm looking at him, and he said, no, go ahead, take a teaspoonful of it. He said, it won't kill you. And he said, but to be on our team, you got to take a drink of that nitro meth. So we stepped out of their trailer, and he had like a teaspoon or bigger than a teaspoon. I said, go ahead. And I'm thinking to myself, I've been through stuff like this before. and so I went ahead and I drank it. I mean, it was like, and it was actually sweet. Modestly, he said, I don't think it affected me. So now they're going down on the line with this bike, and he said, grab my leathers. And I went over to picking them up like my leathers. These things weigh 400 pounds. They're all insulated down their chests, down their legs, covering their groin, because those bikes blow up. And I thought, and they said, they grenade. And I thought,
they need a girdle around them.
but no, that stuff is insane. How much is it
I
a
know.
barrel? How much is a barrel now?
You know, I'm not really positive, but I can tell you that it's.
Greg might know coming up.
Greg might know, but I know it has to be close to a couple $1,000.
Oh, it has to be. It was
Oh, yeah.
it was $1,000 in the 50s, in the 60s.
And they use 13 gallons per run, by the way.
Yeah, we used to only use 3, and it was bankrupting us.
Take care. Thank you. Call of the morning. Thank you. All right, if we go to Briscoe, then we're going to go to another good friend. Hey, Briscoe, you're on the show. Good morning.
Hey, good morning. So I've met John Bandimere a few years ago. I was at a garage sale talking to him, wheeling and dealing. He finally introduced himself. So I'm like, oh, my goodness, okay.
Yeah.
So my background, all in my 20s, I was on Rick Carrillo's race team. And his main sponsor was Chosen Racing during that time. And, you know, just hearing your stories, I'm like, oh, my God, I got to call him. So I was the jack man on the pit crew. And some of the highlights that I had, like NASCAR went to Japan. That was fun. We did exhibition races trying to sweet talk the Japanese car companies to get into NASCAR, and it worked. You know,
they are. Yeah, they are
Toyota's
now.
involved now. I started off in high school at a place called Garoni's Off-Highway Garage, which was just, you know, a garage in North Denver. Some of our highlights, you know, we won with Corelli at Bristol Motor Speedway. We won at St. Louis Speedway. On Corelli's birthday, we should have won at Vegas, but we literally ran out of gas half a lap to the finish line. And we were involved with the Southwest Tour, the Winston West, the Truck Series.
See?
You know, Corelli got in a bad wreck at Memphis, but thank goodness he was a big enough, tough enough guy. He survived because that was the time frame. Petty's grandson died from it was before they implemented the Hans device on everybody. And, you know, there was a speed shop called AAI Speedway or Speed Shop, and I was just wondering if you guys remember Ernie DeCroach, because he built some of the motors that did well for Pikes Peak.
Yes.
We haven't even talked about racing Pikes Peak yet. So
Ernie's shop used to be right there in Arvada.
Yeah. And so he got on our race team, and I didn't know him very well at all. He went to school with my dad. They were the same age. And Ernie, you know, my dad was a straight guy. He was a plumber. Ernie was nuts. And he was a great guy. But,
well, you got to be.
You'll love this line. He goes, I don't like cocaine. I just like the way it smells.
Yeah.
So that's Ernie. But he was a very smart guy. And, you know, a lot of the open wheel dirt guys went to him.
Well,
but I have such great memories of
Briscoe,
racing.
I got somebody holding on here that I want to bring up on the show.
Good.
I'll talk to you. Thanks, man.
Thanks.
Without further ado, I met him because of John Bandimere, and Greg's with us, and you know Greg.
Oh, absolutely.
And Greg Carrillo's with us, and he's what's your Greg? Thank you for calling in. What's the name of the company that you race under? What's the name of your team?
Greg Carrillo Racing.
That's, okay, I wasn't sure.
Fort Morgan, Colorado.
The home of the hits.
There you go.
And you were telling me, and you wanted to come on the show. First of all, he's a top fuel runner, and qualified at the Mile High Nationals.
Sure did.
And he's become a good friend, a great friend, and we talk a lot. And you were telling me, this challenge now to the National Hot Rod Association. Take a second, would you do it, please?
Yeah, I don't know, like, you know, John Bandimere, we've all raced NHRA for like 100 years, you know, and all of a sudden one other thing I want to tell to your previous caller, the fuel is $1,700 for a 42-gallon drum. You don't get 55-gallon drums anymore because of the Homeland Security. But that's how much that costs. And then you got to show up with at least 8 sets of new heads, 8 blocks, 8 of everything. Wow. And I know John mentioned about one spark plug per cylinder, but, you know, top fuel is what we call hardball, so that's why we have everything. But in today's world, last year was there was a new series came in called the iCharity. I think, you know, we'll get John's opinion on it because he's been around 100 years. But the money went way up for us racers to qualify. This year, they're going to have what's called the Triple Crown. And the race is bringing in about a little more than 3 times just to qualify. And we've been raced for an NHRA. So I know that there's going to be, I'm not sure there's anybody's trying to push anybody out. But for me, as a Top Fuel racer and owner, it's blessed that we can have everyone see Top Fuel. And there's this fellow Daryl Cuddle, who came in, and he came in. He bought 10 racetracks, and last week he bought some more racetracks. He bought Heartland Park, Topeka, brought it out of the ashes, and it's coming back.
Greg, he's Musk. He works for Musk, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does some things with Musk. He does a lot of things, electrical contractor. And, everybody's been questioning, hey, how can this guy be sustainable over time? And I'll tell you what, the one thing I can tell you is I pulled into the track the first time in Hebron, Ohio, and there was like 6 big bags of ice. And I told the guy, hey, we don't need those, man, because I don't want to buy them. We're buying race car parts. But we came in Thursday night, and he bought the entire facility catered dinner on Thursday night, and the next night, same thing. So my whole team, everybody's team, got fed. Now here's something different. That John actually went for an 8-mile ride in a Top Fuel car, which is interesting. They started racing some 8th mile instead of the traditional quarter mile. Then we went down to 1,000 foot after Scott Kalita got hurt. But now we've been running some of this 8th mile stuff, and it's been great. I got to admit.
Brothers Peter, is it now unsafe? Is the sport unsafe?
Well, I'll tell you what. When you go from 660 feet, which is your 8th mile, to 1,000 foot, that's when you kill all the parts and everything. You just, as a driver, you're hanging on that last 300 feet. You never know what's going to happen, but you got to get in the show, so you're holding the pedal down. So
that's right.
This is why I don't know what's going to happen. I think NHRA is going to make an announcement this week. But what's really been happening is there's been short fields in Top Fuel just because it's the amount of money to qualify just wasn't enough. That's just bottom line. And when we make 2 runs over in the IHRA and we're getting twice the money, so I think NHRA is going to come around, and I hope so.
Would it be impossible if they went back to a quarter mile, given the technology that I've witnessed and everyone else has witnessed? There would be no holding them back, would there? I mean, I just can't imagine.
No. We can't race. We can't race a quarter mile in the current conditions.
I agree with you, Greg. I think quarter mile drag race. Now, the difference is this: remember, almost all racetracks were built in the 50s, 60s.
Yeah.
A lot of them aren't very long, so they don't have enough shutdown. The old Bandimere Speedway, we had just a little less than half a mile. Yeah, but it's uphill.
Yeah.
But the thing is I think that first of all, 8th mile drag racing has become the norm now for high dollar bracket races. And the reason for it is because you don't hurt as many parts. He was just talking about that.
Man, I didn't know those.
IHRA, according to what we've heard, they're going to run Top Fuel 8th mile, not for 1,000 foot. We'll see how that goes. I think we'll just have to wait and see. But the 1,000 foot barrier or deal is basically most of the racetracks have enough shutdown to be able to run 1,000 feet. If you really watch really close, and Greg, you know this, it's really hard for you to shut your throttle off even at 1,000 feet. I mean, when you're going and holding on to it, because you want to run it all the way through to make sure you qualify. And so
they're putting timers now. I'm the last of the Mohicans. I still like to shut my car off and open the parachute. They do have timers that count down. But the truth of it is, I didn't know. I just thought, you know what, I'm going to walk up here I'm qualified. I'm going to watch when these guys make a run. Honestly, John, I couldn't tell the difference between 660 and 1,000 foot for the fan, because when you're in the car and you hit 660, by the time you pull that throttle back, you're past 1,000 foot.
You're right. You're right. No, it's that was exactly what Larry Dixon told me when we made the run. The scoreboard showed 255 miles an hour, but he said we probably were going around 275.
Wow.
Because, by the time he got it shut down, we probably were going a little bit quicker.
What's the fastest you've gone through the traps?
Well, I can just tell you, like Denver, I was qualified number 1 on Friday night, the last race at Bandimere, and I went 382 at 324. I mean 325.
I thought you were over 3. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, 325 miles an hour. But on the coast, we can go in the 340 range. To 1,000 foot. Yeah. And I'm just telling you, the cars literally, like John says, we just got to figure this out where we're not blowing stuff up, or we need to pay more money. So that's where the dilemma we're caught up in. Mm-hmm. And it's going to be very interesting. I get so many people asking me about John and the family and what's going on with Bandimere and where we're at. What are we doing?
Yeah.
Is he going to go IHRA? Is he going to go NHRA?
Yeah.
So I said, you know what? I don't know, but I'm going to be talking to John on Saturday and tell us what you think about these IHRA, NHRA things, John.
Well, frankly, I think it's good for the sport. I think it's good to have competition.
It's like, was it the Saudi Arabians that started that golf league? Or?
Yes. I was telling Peter that, to me, you had the PGA, and they weren't supposedly making enough money.
Yep. So
they decided to start this deal out of Saudi Arabia, and they have this golf league out of there, Dubai, I think, or something like that. And they pay these guys just to come and play. The same as like if you qualify. And I don't know. It just seems to me like right now, I'm going to answer your question that you really want to hear, and that is, we have not made any decision at all, and I'm not making any decision because I passed the torch to my son and to my son-in-law, and they're the ones that are really making all the decisions now as far as Bandimere Speedway and the continuance of it. I will tell you this, and the folks out there, we have 1,200 acres under contract. We are already annexed. Annexation, zoning, and plan development is all now in the town of Hudson, waiting for the town of Hudson to make decisions, which they'll be doing. And so things are moving in the right direction. And by the way, this new racetrack will be 1 mile in length. So there'll be plenty of shutdown at this facility. And that's one of the things that Larry wanted more than anything else, is to have at least 1 mile long. But as far as what's going on with IHRA, I was talking with my son. Topeka, they just bought Heartland Park.
I got to caution everybody on time.
Okay.
What do we got? Adam, how much time we got? 30 seconds. Look, Greg, I'm going to put you up on hold, and we'll pick up the conversation on the other side. It's a Saturday morning. Great guest. It's, of course, John Bandimere and Bill Vickery on a big Bronco morning. Top fuel racer Greg Carrillo on hold. 710 KNUS Denver's talk station.
Your 710 KNUS forecast is Saturday, mostly sunny and breezy today, gusts up to 25 miles per hour. High temperatures near 40. Mostly clear tonight, lows in the upper 20s. Sunny on Sunday, highs topping out around 55 degrees with overnight lows in the lower 20s Sunday night. Weather brought to you by L&L Heating and Air Conditioning. For quick, trustworthy, and dependable service, call L&L Heating and Air Conditioning at 720-851-1691. Visit them online at bestdenverhvac.com. That's bestdenverhvac.com. You'll be comfortable with L&L. I'm day weather meteorologist Patrice Sutter in the 710 KNUS Weather Center.
Well, you're working for the FBI and the CIA, and it's 710 KNUS on a Saturday morning, Bronco Day. It's going to be a day. Game 2:30, 710 KNUS. We're Denver's talk station. Great guests, good callers. The snow is flying up in the mountains, and now ski resorts are starting to open. If you're rocking gear from a decade ago, you're missing out. It's time to upgrade. The only place to go is Larson Ski and Sport. John Marriott and the guys have the newest inventory, and trust me, the service is incredible. And I've represented John now for pushing 20 years. They got everything you need from top-tier performance skis, snowboards, and the best jackets and apparel. We're talking about brand names like R2, the K2 brand, and Rosignol and Nordica. And whether you're a downhill demon or a powder hound, Larson's will fit you perfectly, and that's important with boots. Forget the big box stores. Larson's staff offers expertise you need and incredible value. Stop in today, ask for John or his son Jack. Tell them I sent you. Again, they're easy to find. You're westbound on I-70. Get off on I-70, come down the ramp, and then make a left under the tunnel and come out on the other side of 70. Head south on Kipling. Look on the right-hand side. You see a big wooden building south of I-70 on Kipling. They're open 7 days a week, going up, coming back. Get your gear, get on the mountain, and have a great day. Larson Ski and Sport, tell them I sent you. Larson Ski and Sport, south of I-70 on Kipling, 303-423-0654, 303-423-0654, or visit Larson, Larson, sport.com. In studio, this has been a wonderful show. John Bandimere and Bill Vickery, and in the middle of all of this, my good friend, he's a top fuel drag racer, and he's become a good friend, and he's a motorcycle rider. Greg Carrillo is calling, and you were at a call point, and when we broke away, and I think, John, were you speaking when we took the break, or Greg, were you talking? I was taking notes. So one of you two guys. We'll come to John because you were talking about the new track,
Right.
if you would.
Yeah.
Heartland Park, Topeka.
Go ahead, Greg. Say that.
Yeah, you were talking about the purchase of Heartland Park, Topeka, and then you were.
Oh, yeah.
then we,
Okay.
had to
Yeah.
go to break.
Well, see, we bought everything out of Heartland Park, Topeka. We bought the timing system, the tractor, the scoreboards. We completely took everything out of that place and sold it to other places around the country. So, I mean, that has to be completely re-put together. Atlanta, NHRA sold that several years ago, and he bought that. There's nothing there, so that's all got to be put back. In a way, it's going to be frankly, it's going to be a really good deal for the manufacturing side of our business, from the standpoint that Daryl has been a tremendous customer in buying rotators and spray rigs and so on. And so I think there's going to be some big orders coming in, so that'll be good, and we're thankful for that. But yeah, the timing of everything is just it's all God's timing, and we're just waiting and making sure that things go along. I told Bill that if we get it done the way we want it done, we'd sure like to have a Vickery Motorsports bicycle shop out there.
Watch. So, final question, Greg. What do you see happening with the new, if there is a new league?
Well, I'll tell you what. I got so many questions that the guy wasn't sustainable, and we were all worried about this, And then when he went and bought Memphis Motorsports Park, and he, on his way out of town, he stopped by Children's Hospital, and he left a check for $10 million for the kids. I think that kind of settled it right there, So I don't know. I'm with John. It's better for me because, I got different places to race now. And with John building a new track closer to Fort Morgan, Colorado, my 90-year-old father, who used to get mad at us all the time, he goes, I said, Dad, why don't you go with us out of town to a race? He goes, I can't go because he's going to send you all the stuff when you guys forget it at the shop. So when we go to Bandimere's, he'd sit the whole team down at the shop at Fort Morgan, and he'd go, hey, let me tell you something. Fort Morgan, I'm going to Bandimere. and you guys go get your own parts. So he goes, and you know what? Yeah, now that John's building the track closer to us, he goes, you guys will be able to drive half as much to go get the parts you forget. So
It's Peter. Hey, Greg, what's the first year you raced at Bandimere, and what did you race?
oh my God, 100 years I've raced sportsman racing there. I don't even know how long, but I've won everything he's had there. I've won division races. I've won, first day I ever sat in a Super Comp car, I won the NHRA division race. I won the Mile High Nationals in Super Comp. You know, I won the Knights of Fire and Thunder there.
Those were great nights, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, 23, the last race, I rolled it out of the trailer. It hadn't been out in a year. We qualified number one.
Yeah, that was cool.
You know, Bandimere's our home track, man. You know, that's what it boils down to.
John had the drag racing garage sale.
Yeah.
And we went, and Brian Gray came with his daughter who works Grand Prix in Europe, and we walked that track and climbed up those stairs, and that had to be just incredible what happened on those tracks was amazing.
She bought a lot of stuff too.
Oh, well, you know, somebody come and buy your timing lights, buy your tree.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Think about that, what somebody did with that, and they put it in their game room, or they put it in their best of your knowledge.
Bet I don't know if we ever sold a Christmas tree. We sold a lot of other stuff, but
it was. I got an autographed John Bandimere hat. Greg, I'll call you after the show's over, Bubba. Thank you.
Thanks for calling.
Thanks, brother. A lot. 303-696-1971. John Bandimere and Bill Vickery. Now we haven't talked about superbikes. We were talking about Top Fuel. I saw superbikes once in Daytona. Took my breath away, just like being with you and watching John Force. How good are those guys?
Oh, they're good.
You raced Daytona.
Yeah. Daytona's a little different because it's a super speedway, they call it. And
tell the story about the wall that you told me.
Oh, the first year that I went to Daytona was just a first year I was riding a 250. Well, at that time they were just TA 250s, air-cooled things. And the guy who had some experience, and he would tell me, Bill, just get right up next to the wall, as close to the wall as you can, because the air is quieter up there, and this is going down the back straightaway, which, you want to be able to pass people if you can. And he was right, but to work your nerve up to get over there, because he told me if you can't reach over and touch the wall, you're not close enough. It took me a whole day just to get enough speed and balls and wrong word.
That's okay.
Enough speed and thing to be able to just to hold it wide open all the way around the banking, because at that time we didn't use a chicane. You came off the back banking.
They went up on the wall and then they come down off the wall.
Right. Well, now they have a chicane right at the end of the back straightaway that you drop down, go, and then you go back up onto the banking. But the first one I went, they didn't have that. So you'd go 2/3 of the way around the track, up against the wall. And he was right. And once you got your nerve up enough to do it, it was amazing. But it's hard.
I tried to walk up that wall. You can't do it.
Can't do it.
For real.
Yeah.
And when first time I saw those bikes, 3 abreast, had to be, I think 3, maybe wider. And how fast are they going?
Oh, now they're going 200, close.
John. You remember there was a cartoon I saw once, and 2 guys were walking out of a bowling alley as the sun was coming up, and there were 2 guys putting fishing rods in the trunk. And one guy said, who would be nuts enough to get up in the middle of the night and go fishing? And it's like, when I hear you guys talk, you're telling the same story. You really are telling. You're just telling it it's a different way.
Yeah.
And so here you are. Did you know anybody when you went to Daytona?
Yeah. There were a few. The guy he was actually pretty much retired, but he was an old racer, and there were several other guys at that time. I mean, in those days there were probably 300 riders.
Yeah.
And if you didn't do well in your heat, there wasn't a such thing as a semi. You either do well enough in your heat to go to the main event, or you go home.
And that's pretty much in drag racing. Put it on the trailer, right?
Yeah.
Take it home.
Yeah. Be good enough or go.
What was Pikes Peak like, racing Pikes Peak?
Oh, I loved Pikes Peak, but it was kind of because I was from Colorado, and it was always the biggest deal in the world. And, they didn't have motorcycles all the time at Pikes Peak. And in 1971, we had heard that, and that was kind of in the prime of my racing career, that they were going to have motorcycles. And I was so excited I couldn't hardly stand myself. And I just remember thinking, I've got to win this race.
And you did.
And I did.
Yeah.
But it was just probably the most dangerous race that you race. Because it's, before the race, once we found out, actually, the guy who's my manager, Chuck Jensen, and I, we were both racing, and we got street bikes. We went down there for a couple of weeks, and every weekend we'd ride up and down the road, because knowing the curves
Had to
was
feel it,
everything.
yeah.
Well, we decided that there was two kinds of curves. There were kill you curves and every other curve. And you had to remember the kill you curves. The other ones, you could push it hard,
I got to celeb race that. and I crashed on it was Engineers. Mm-hmm. And it was like this, Engineers to Curve was
13 mile.
And they said, watch out for Engineers, because it's a total switchback. I put it in the ditch. But it was like, the other thing was, we got taken up to, we had to stay on the top until everybody's
done.
Until it's done, and then you get to come down. Well, this fellow who was really kind of a guide for all of us, he said, now be careful up there. And I said, why? And he said, well, people go up there and they spend the night. Mm-hmm. And he said, they shut the mountain down and they're up there. And he said, they're drinking beer up there at night. And I'm nodding along. And he said, and it gets cold. And I'm still, following along. And he said, so when in the morning comes, he said, they're drunk and they're frozen. He said, I'm serious about this. And he said, they walk out on the track, walk out on the road. And he said, it's like the dawn of the dead. He said, these guys are waiting up there and they'll step back, cars go by. So what did you race up the hill?
Well, I've raced a lot of different ones. That particular time was, I raced a 125. And, that, I always remember the curve at the bottom of the bottomless pit, they call it.
Yes.
But it's a downhill to get there, and it's a long downhill.
Yes.
So it probably is. You could probably go as fast there as you went anywhere on the track, even though at that altitude your motorcycle's pretty puny.
It dies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you just don't have any horsepower. It's
the lighter guys do better.
Oh, obviously
true.
To some degree, but that doesn't seem to be a huge difference.
Man,
I mean, it's when you're talking about that many curves and doing the right line and
so
all this stuff.
that was the race that had the edge to it more than.
Yeah. Well, it's so
There's no
many places.
guardrails.
Yeah, so many places there that if you went off,
Yep.
In fact, that since then they've had the race for motorcycles, and then somebody gets killed, and
Yes.
they don't have it anymore. And they don't have it anymore now, and that's just because it's dangerous. There's no way that it could be guardrailed, and really the speeds that they can do now. Because it's easy to have a 200 horsepower motorcycle nowadays. Back when I rode, where you're talking, 30, 40, maybe 50 horsepower motorcycle was, big
It's
deal.
like my bucket list, the Isle of Man.
Mm-hmm.
You and I have talked about it.
Yeah.
That's just. I watch those tapes that
That's
come
over
out.
the top.
And it's the same guys that come back, and they lose somebody or two people or three people every year, and they come back. And,
it was something I wanted to do so bad, but it's logistically not feasible, money and time and space.
I'm being told calls 303-69. I apologize. Hogging the guest 303-696-1971. Do you want to take the calls or okay? We got to go to the phones. I'm sorry, fellas. Katie, hey Katie, you're on a radio show Saturday morning, and good morning.
Hi, this is Katie, and I'm here with my dad, Kent Clark, and we had a question for Mr. John Bandimere.
Shoot.
Do you by any chance have a projected date of opening Bandimere Speedway in Hudson?
Thank you for asking that question. It's a $24,000 question. It appears, that we'll probably, right now it looks like we could maybe possibly have the annexation zoning and stuff done by the middle of March. And so if it does,
this year. Wow.
Yeah. So if it does get done, I think that they're looking at moving dirt fairly quickly. But I just kind of doubt that there'll be any. There may be something at the end of 26, but probably in 27. So
That's a
Okay.
long,
yeah. Time. By the way, we just live in a really different day and age right now. It just takes time to get things done more than what it used to, and but one thing about it, things are moving along in a very positive direction right now, which
That's
we're
great.
thankful for.
It's great, John.
Thanks
Katie?
for asking.
That's so awesome. Do you
got
have
it?
any more questions before? Okay. Thank you so much. And
Thanks, you guys.
it's been a joy to hear you guys this morning.
Be safe. Thank you. 303-696-1971. I have another break coming. 710 KNUS Denver's Talk Station with John Bandimere and Bill Vickery. It is good morning. Now it's good afternoon to everybody. Thank you all. Stay here. 710 KNUS. Boy, 2 hours flew. Saturday, the 17th of January, 2026. I'm Peter Boyles. 38 to high, 50 tomorrow. We got about 8 minutes left in the show with John Bandimere and Bill Vickery. And we were, during the pause, John, you were telling a story, and I think it's important for the air because it goes to all of this, if you would, please.
Well, I was just sharing with you all that when I was in the auto parts business, we had our shop down on 8th and Champa, and our competitor was Ernie Spickler Automotive. And every night when I'd go home, I would drive by his store to see if he had any customers.
Sure.
Because I was kind of worried about whether we were getting
who's listening to your radio station if it isn't mine?
Exactly. And so I told my dad that, and he says, son, I want you to stop that. Never do I ever want you to drive by there again. He says, remember, if you take care of your customer, that's all you're going to do.
So true.
And you know what? I did that, and it changed everything. And so that's really what basically, the kids today, they don't really need to build another racetrack. They don't need to.
Yeah.
Financially.
Yeah.
But they want to.
There you go.
And they want to because of the people.
Everybody wants you to do it.
We miss the people.
Yeah.
The racing is just a part of it, right, Bill?
Yeah, it's just
but
entertainment.
boy, when you really get right down to it, it's the people that we've been a part of and been a part of our life and have shared their finances, their time, and seen their families grow, and that's what we like.
Everybody that knows I know you, that's the premier question. Is Bandimere going to open that track? And I don't want to say one way or the other.
Sure.
Yeah. But yes, the answer is we'll know soon.
Yes.
Good. I got to tell a story when Mr. Vickery took me to the racetrack. And they gave me leathers, and they gave me a helmet and gloves, and they gave me a motorcycle that didn't have any mirrors. And we told this story. I go, well, where's the mirrors? Why don't you need mirrors, sir?
Well, at the track, if you're worried about the guy behind you, you got a problem. You have to say it. And it was actually my son that was taking you around.
Yeah, he did, yeah.
That's the point, is to try and go forward. Of course, those bikes aren't made for street. They're started out as street bikes.
No, they're not.
You took the mirrors and everything off.
And they're tuned and they're fast.
Yeah.
They're they're very fast. They're very, very fast. What? So the top end, you were almost to 200, and John, you witnessed 3. I can't imagine. I mean, I just can't imagine what that must be like.
At the time you're doing it, it doesn't seem so much. Thinking about it later is probably maybe even more exciting than doing it.
Right.
Was there? You went to the Salt too.
Yeah, we went to the Salt Flats for 10 years straight, and it was just like I said, growing up when you had those, the Pikes Peak, the Bonneville, Daytona, you got to go, and we went every year. It was our family vacation. It was going to
the
Salt Flats, and you're a week there, and it's different than a regular race because there's not this got to go right now thing. You got all week to get, you qualify good enough in the afternoon. You get to come back the next morning to try and set a real
I love that film, The World's Fastest Indian. God, I love that film. And I saw the bike. They had the guy's real bike. They had it up in
I was there when he was there.
Oh, wow!
It's kind of because he was a character. The movie probably was mild compared.
That's what I've been told.
But and truthfully, his machine, I looked at it and said, God, how did you ever get this through tech?
I saw it up in Sturgis, and I thought, wow. I mean, I don't know much about mechanics, but that was beat up.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I don't really want to do this, but I got to brag about my wife. She set records on 125s at Bonneville. At that time, she was the only woman in the record book at Bonneville. She set a 250 record that still stands today, at 144. And she'd never ridden a motorcycle until she met me.
Wow.
But once we had our boys and everything, and we just loved to ride motorcycles, and said, well, I got to learn how to do that, or I'm going to be left behind.
Rob Williams' widow set. They get out there, and that's something I'd like to see. It's a bucket list ride too, or not ride, but just go and watch. I can't imagine those guys as fast as they go.
And the thing about Bonneville is that there's so much different stuff, and you'll see things there that you think, God, how'd that guy think of that? But, some brilliant things and some things like, wow, I wouldn't go 10 miles an hour on that thing.
I remember like when I was a kid reading the magazines, and they had they took bombshells or whatever it was, or gas fuel tanks off of jets, and they made tankers.
Yeah,
right?
because they were well designed to be very good streamlining.
Yeah.
So they perfect. So that's kind of. Yeah, it's a different deal.
John, who was the most impressive character that you met in all the years of running that track?
John Force.
I was going to ask you. I met you with John Force, and you brought John Force to the studio, and I thought John Force too. Wow.
I think of John a lot. Of course, he's struggling now, you know. But when John first came, I think I've told that story. The
was
house
broke.
The house we still live in didn't have a finished basement, and so he really didn't have any money, and so he and Uncle Louie and his gang would come and stay in the basement of our house because that way it was cheap, right? They could get by and but it was fun. I mean, I think of him when I had the opportunity to introduce him to Linda with Wendy's, and then with Bob Harmson.
I
with
remember
Jolly
Linda
Rancher.
from Wendy's.
And, yeah, it was fun to be able to help and see him. It was maybe something that got him going. And today, I mean, I just heard he's going to have 4 cars this next year. Two dragsters and 2 funny cars.
I've seen his affection for you. I was a starting line with you, and I could see John Force in you. Who was the guy that was the most impressive character that you came across?
Oh, boy, that's hard. There's a lot of guys through the years, but I mean, one of the guys that was right when I was starting to race was Bob Conway, and he was a local racer, but he had a big influence on me to push you and realize, help you out with what you got to do. He's been gone for a long time, but that probably is close as anybody.
What do you think before you crash? I mean, you've crashed.
You don't have time to think.
No, I know stories about you crashing, and
well, I'm pretty lucky from that standpoint. I mean, a lot of guys crashed all the time. I was pretty good. I didn't crash very much. I can't say I didn't break some bones and stuff, but I always bragged I never broke a femur. I thought I never had a concussion until the doctor told me that every time you saw stars, you had a concussion.
Indeed.
So, yeah. But, no, I've been pretty lucky, and it depends. I mean, if you're talking about riding in the dirt or something like that, you have a little bit of time before you hit the ground and know this is going to hurt. But, the road races and the fast stuff, there's no time. It's done before you know what happened. If you make an impossible save afterwards, you can kind of diagnose.
Well, you see those
what
guys slide out, with all, they have the hump on their back and they're set to go.
Really, if you do what's called a low side like that, that's a nothing. You're just sliding. Yeah. If you high side, where it throws you,
bikes go the other way.
Yeah, and it throws you in the air with a lot of velocity. Those are really going to hurt. But sometimes you turn a impossible save into a non-save by low siding it instead of high siding.
And turning the other way. I just have so much admiration for your abilities. I got a minute to go. To Mr. Bandimere, thank you for, 30 years, 40 years, I forget. First time I went with John, and Mr. Vickery, you've always been wonderful to me, and the stories are great, and end the story. And
we appreciate it.
We got 40 seconds left.
It was great coming.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, I've been trying to get Bill in here and John, and when I now get a million emails and text messages. Well, what about this? I don't walk in. Where's Vickery Motorsports? The address.
2231 South Parker Road, Road in Iliff.
Right here, you guys. Yep. And Mr. Vickery will be there and answer questions. Mr. Bandimere, we're waiting.
Okay, if you go on I-76.
Yep.
There's where Hudson is.
Yep.
There's a truck stop, big roundabout.
Yep.
If you go to the truck stop and you look straight north, that's where the racetrack will be.
Go Broncos. I will see everybody next Saturday. Thank you, Adam. It was a wonderful show. Take care, everybody.